Jayson Jorgensen back with you today as we bring you another edition of HuskerChat. I am joined by Sean Callahan, the publisher of HuskerOnline. All right, Sean, we all saw what took place on Saturday. Nebraska, the big lead, they could not hold it as they fell to Colorado. You made the trip out to Boulder. As you look back on it, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, Jason, it was just such a lost opportunity for the program. I mean, you're on a national TV stage, 2:30 game. You had over 30,000 estimated Husker fans in the stadium. You play not a flawless first half, but pretty close to a flawless first half, where you were going into that second half with a chance to make a knockout blow, really kind of get a lot of positive publicity for Nebraska football as far as the direction of the program, the great fan base that invaded and took over Folsom Field. And then it all just kind of fell out at that point. And I think Nebraska came out a little too conservatively in the second half, up 17-0. They had 4 consecutive punts. You got to give Colorado a lot of credit last week. They came out, and they went up tempo in the second half. And I think the heat, the altitude, and then running 46 plays over a 15-minute period in the second half really wore down this black shirt defense, who shut down Colorado to under 100 yards in the first half.
Looked to me like Colorado made some nice adjustments. They started off the game really wanting to go vertical with their passing game, and then when they started to go short, Nebraska had issues with that.
I think what they did, Jason, honestly, is we're just going to make Nebraska tackle our guys in space. Nebraska had 13 missed tackles in that game, according to Pro Football Focus. I would venture to guess 10 to 11 of those missed tackles probably came in the second half. And I think once they put Nebraska in more tackling situations as they got tired and then they started pressing, that's when some of those bigger plays happened. And, once those home runs got going for their offense, the fan base got back into the game, and the advantage Nebraska had at 17-0 quickly went away.
How about the offense for a second straight week? We saw some starts and some sputters. There certainly were some nice plays. Big game from Washington, but it seems to me that still Nebraska doesn't really have an identity on offense. When they need a play, they need to go something. They don't really have anything they can hang their hat on.
Yeah, the home run was there a few times. Maurice Washington had a 40-yard run, a 75-yard catch. Then you had J.D. Spielman, I believe, a 65-yard touchdown. I mean, they got 3 what you would call explosive plays from their big guys. But, yeah, after that, just the consistency. I mean, I think they averaged, when you take away all their explosive plays they had, they only averaged 3 yards per play. Well, that's on a first down. So just the consistency of the grind that you need to win wasn't there. Lots of 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8s, lots of 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 6s, and those are very, very difficult situations to put a young offensive line in. And Nebraska's not getting a lot of production out of their receivers after J.D. Spielman and Wan'Dale Robinson. They just have not gotten anything out of Canabai Noah. Very quiet day from the tight ends. Mike Williams has been very quiet. So I think the lack of production they've gotten from the receivers, whether that's on Martinez or guys not getting open, that's been a concern of mine as well.
Today on HuskerChat, we're joined by Sean Callahan. We're taking a look back at Nebraska's tough loss to Colorado on Saturday. Before we move on to the Northern Illinois game, what was the atmosphere like watching that game on TV? It looked like a de facto home game.
Yeah, it was incredible, Jason. I mean, Nebraska came in there as like a foreign army and just took over the place. And I think Colorado was speechless. They had an optimistic thought of what the stadium invasion was going to be, and they weren't even close. I mean, I think a lot of people thought, it might be 10,000, maybe 12. Well, it was over half. The side that we looked out over the press box, those are big season ticket holders, and all of them sold their tickets. And the side underneath the press box, that was the Nebraska side. That was all red. It was really incredible. I've been around, covering road games now over 20 seasons, and that one would rank right up there. Considering, Colorado fans, there's some history with this game. It wasn't like going to Northwestern where there isn't much of a fan base locally that goes to those games. So it was really remarkable to see that many fans come out there. Just disappointing, I think, for a lot of folks to have it right there and then just kind of see it fall apart.
Absolutely. Well, now they have to put that game behind them to get ready for Northern Illinois, and I would think this is a battle. The last time they were in Lincoln, things went pretty well for those guys.
Well, the last time Northern Illinois was in Lincoln, I mean, it changed the complexity of the program. Sean Eichhorst got fired later that week, which ultimately set up the firing of Mike Riley. So there is obviously a lot there when you look at these guys. They're the defending MAC champions from a year ago, but they have an entire new coaching staff. Their old coaching staff with Rob Carey is at Temple. Thomas Hammock, a former NIU player and NFL running backs coach, now is back there. Their offensive coordinator is from South Dakota State, had a very good run there at South Dakota State. So they've got a very good coaching staff. They played Utah tough. I think for Nebraska, though, maybe the timing is good. This is going to be a mad football team this week. Utah's a very physical team. So you wonder how the Huskies are going to be coming into Lincoln after a very, very tough physical game they had a week ago against Utah.
And I don't know if anyone would have ever thought that Scott Frost would only win 5 of his first 14 games as coach of the Big Red. I got to think this is a big week for him.
I think this week and the next week, Jayson, are humongous as far as getting this thing on track. I thought from the get-go 4-0, I don't want to say it was a must, but if they didn't get 4-0, it was going to be dicey. But then the questions that have now come out of it with the offense have made 3-1 out of the gates, not a slam dunk. Illinois is on the road. You just don't know how your team's going to play. And then obviously this week, Northern Illinois is capable to beat you. I mean, you're a 14.5-point favorite right now. So there will be some pressure on Nebraska. And NIU, as we know, can go in and win a game like this because they've proven it a couple years ago.
All right. Hopefully things go better this Saturday night. As always, we appreciate your time. Thanks, Sean.
All right, Jayson. Thank you.
And that was Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline. Once again, our guest for HuskerChat. I'm Jayson Jorgensen. Hi, this is Jayson Jorgensen, Sports Director at KRVN. Thanks for watching our YouTube video. To keep up to date with everything we have going on with our sports coverage, you can find that. And we'd love to have you subscribe to our channel. Just hit